xplanehelp.co.uk. Hi and welcome to another xplanehelp.co.uk. You joined me at about 5,000 feet in the air, and we are just over the Bristol area actually. It's a nice day up here. Looking across here, we've got pretty good visibility. We can see all up the Severn estuary over here, and yeah, we've got pretty good views actually. Bristol's down there, and over in the distance there we've got the two Severn bridges just over there. So in this video we are going to look at how to use the VOR navigation system. So the VOR navigation system is a set of VOR beacons that are VOR radio beacons that are located around the United Kingdom and Ireland and Northern Ireland, Jersey, and up over just off the coast of Scotland, as well as indeed everywhere around the world. And these VORs form part of the National Airways network and indeed the global network, and they allow pilots to be able to navigate their way across the skies towards their destinations using both VORs and waypoints as well. They can do this. So how do you use a VOR? Well, VORs, they broadcast on a particular radio frequency, and if you program that radio frequency into your aircraft's navigational system, you will be able to determine the direction that you need to fly to the VOR, as well as the distance to the VOR. So what we're going to do, if you look over here, this is the comm and navigation hardware over here, and what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on this section here. This is the combined ILS and VOR computer that we're going to be working with. At the moment you can see that it's tuned into a very well known frequency that I use, which is the instrument landing system frequency for Bristol Airport. So this particular hardware, this screen, focuses on both VOR and ILS frequencies. So what we're going to do is we are going to change this frequency to that of the VOR that we need. I'm just going to make a slight turn because what I want to do is I want you to see how it actually works, and that if you do it this way at the moment you're not going to appreciate how it works as such. So let's make a southerly turn. Perfect. Okay, we're on passing through westerly direction on the way to southerly turn. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to confirm that we are using the correct apparatus on here. So to do that, if you go down to here, you'll see you've got a COM and VLOC button here, and all you need to do is you press this button here. If you press that, that will skip between your COM and your navigation software. So click it again, and there we are on the navigation software. You will know when it is switched because you'll see that light blue line over the top of the frequency. Secondly, you'll notice that you've got your blue frequency here highlighted in blue, and you've got your white frequency. What that means is that if you see a white one here, the top frequency is activated. This frequency down here is your standby frequency. Now to change that frequency, if you need to, what you need to do is down here you've got these two dials. You've got an outer dial and you've got an inner dial. If you turn this dial here, you'll notice that the left hand frequency is changing. So to decrease it, you scroll down. To increase it, you scroll up, like that. Now, the inner dial controls the right hand numerical value. So, and again, to decrease it, scroll down. To increase it, scroll up. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to dial in the frequency for the Brecon VOR. And what we're going to do, we're on 117 and we're going to change the 60 to a 45. There we are. So we have 117450. Outer frequency is this one. Sorry, the left hand frequency is this one. The right hand frequency is this one. Okay? But at the moment that's still not activated. So all we've got is we've just put a load of numbers in there. What we're now going to do is we're going to activate it. And the way that you do that is by clicking on this arrow button here. Click it like that. And that frequency is now being activated. And there we are, you can see it. 1117450 is now being placed into the active column, and it's now coloured white, but more importantly the top one is your active one. But also what you'll notice now is that if you look on here, down here you've now got a new piece of data on being displayed. You've got VOR, BCN, radial 136, distance 28.6. What that's done, when it's locked on to the VOR frequency, it tells you the abbreviation of the VOR that you've locked onto, and it gives you the distance to that VOR. Now, what you now need to do is you now need to fly in the direction of that VOR. And the way that you do that is by using this gauge here. This gauge doubles up as two things. It doubles up as the instrument landing system gauge and your VOR directional gauge. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this dial here, this knob here, OBS, we're going to turn that, keep on turning it until this needle here goes dead center. What we're going to do is turn it that way. Keep on turning it until that needle, there it is, look. The needle is now starting to turn towards the center. So there we are, turning towards the center, and it's now pretty much dead center, more or less. What that's done, this radio frequency is being transmitted from the Brecon VOR. What you're doing is when you turn this dial, you are basically bringing this needle, you're confirming the radial that you need to fly by turning this needle and watching this, turning this dial and watching this needle move across. And when that needle has moved into the center like that, that needle, that now says that you need to fly in that direction. So the needle is going upwards and it's the large yellow triangle. You need to fly in that direction in order to fly towards that VOR. So the direction you need to fly is just off of 330 degrees, just slightly off of 330 degrees. So what we're going to do now is we're now going to go down to this screen here, this gauge here, and I'm going to turn the heading needle, because at the moment, if you look, we're still flying this direction here. We're still flying on a radar heading of 210 degrees. All that's doing is that's simply telling us the direction to that VOR. That's all it's doing, nothing else. So what we're going to do is we're now going to vector towards that direction. So to do that, just simply rotate the dial like that and match the heading on this with the heading on that. Keep going, 330 degrees. Now you'll know that you're flying the right way for two reasons. The first reason is because of course you're matching the heading on here on your autopilot with the heading on here. But secondly, if you look down at your distance here, if you look down at this distance, you can see straight away that you're now starting to close the distance between you and the VOR that you're flying to. Now, one thing else you've got to follow, you've got to make sure, now because you're flying, whilst you think you're flying in a straight direction, you're not actually flying in a straight direction because you've got winds up here, you've got winds buffeting you around, and you know, you got it's a completely full-on motion environment in the air, and you've got winds coming from, you know, quite a few directions, air pressures, all that sort of thing, and that's all buffeting the aircraft around and making it turn left, right, making the nose go up and down. That's why if you turn the autopilot off and you take your hands off the controls, you'll you might start to turn, you might start to pitch up or down, and that's because the aircraft is being buffeted by all manner of things up here. So if you look at you need to constantly look at your VOR gauge here, look, because straight away already we can see that that arrow has gone off of centre. So what we're going to do is we're just going to bring that arrow back over, and we can see straight away that we've actually changed slightly on the heading. We're now more on a positive 330 degrees heading. So what we're going to do is we're just going to bring the heading around a bit like that, and now we're more on that heading there. So it's slight adjustments, but if you leave it for too long, you'll eventually find that you could indeed fly 10-15 miles off of the actual direction you want to go. So there we are, that's how you fly a VOR heading. What we'll do is we'll just see if we can get another heading. We'll try, what are we, we're at 9,000 feet at the moment. We might be able to pick up the Strumble VOR. Strumble VOR, and that is on 113.10. So 113.10. So what we're going to do is, again, we go down to this one here. This one here is just purely a display of information. These two here are the ones that you can change. So let's check. Let's select VLOC. There we are. It's VLOC. And what we're going to do is we're going to change our frequency to 113.10. So 113.10. Yeah, there's 113.10 for the Strumble VOR. I'm not sure if we're going to pick this up or not, because it's quite a way away. And now what we're going to do is we're now going to press the arrow button. And there we are. Oh, actually it has picked it up as well. There we are. So 113.10 is now activated, and it's picked up the VOR, which is Strumble, which is STU, and it's now telling us the distance to that VOR. And you can see it's 86.5 nautical miles. And if you look over here at the VOR heading, you can see on here that it's actually changed on the heading there. So what we're going to do, let's steer towards the Strumble VOR. So again, you just press this, you turn this dial here, and see straight away, look, the arrows begin to come in. And there we are, look. It's pretty much there, I'd say. But so that side of the heading, that's just short of 300 degrees. So what we're going to do, we'll go down to our heading gauge again, and we're going to change our heading to just under 300 degrees. And there we are, look. So now we are tracking towards the Strumble VOR on 111310 at a distance of 84 nautical miles. It's on 300 degrees, and we're on a heading of 300 degrees. So if you look over here, there's the delightful coast of Wales over here. We're just entering the Welsh coastline, and we're actually heading directly towards the Strumble VOR. So that's how you use the VOR navigation system on the default Cessna C172 on X-Plane 11. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. xplanehelp.co.uk. Cheers.